Hello everyone, and welcome to Career Unfiltered, where careers get real. This podcast is part of our Campus to Corporate Dialogues series, where we talk to real industry professionals and uncover how communication, leadership, and culture actually work in today's corporate world. And today's episode is truly special. We are honored to have with us Ms. Jayanti Arora, Assistant Manager in Talent Acquisition at Adidas India. She has been with Adidas for almost 2 years, catering to talent across both retail and corporate roles. Since Adidas is a global organization, all hiring follows global standards, and Ms. Jayanti plays a key role in ensuring these practices are fair, consistent, and people centered. Her biggest passion is building a one people culture, a culture where communication drives inclusion, teamwork, and trust. And along with her core TA responsibilities, she has also been double hatting for the past 6 months, managing additional HR operations responsibilities. We are really excited to have her here today. Welcome to Career Unfiltered, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Bhumika. This is my pleasure, and thank you so much for this awesome introduction. And it's my pleasure to be part of this. And it's my pleasure because I've been from an education industry as well. So this is a good opportunity for me to interact with you. And of course, I think this discussion and meeting would give you a lot of reflections and learnings as well.
The pleasure is ours, ma'am. So let's get started. Since today's theme is leadership through communication, I want to start with something foundational. In your experience at Adidas, how important is communication in building trust between HR and employees?
Okay, so when you were talking about this question, this brought me to two keywords, that is HR and an employee. So basically, for this question, just wanted everyone and especially you to understand that HR is like a benefactor, is like a welfare source of employees because employees, whatever the concerns they have, say it rewards and recognition, even if it is payout, it is payrolls, severance, anything, right? Whether it is hiring, whether imagine if someone, a new person joins an organization, so it is only the HR where the employee can actually put faith in. So in this case, the relation between HR and employee is always about two-way communication, right? Because the better and more the communication is, that brings more of a transparency, right? Because it is always that the employee has a grievance, right? And that grievance can come to HR only for a solution, only if there is a communication. And that brings transparency, and consequently, that would enable us to come, the tat for any grievance reduces if there is a good communication with HR. Consequently,
True.
the situation and the solution is there in your hand, right? So this is
Yeah.
how communication is very, very important. And gradually, uh, you build a trust with the HR, right?
True.
Again, I would say, let me give a fine example. If someone in the HR, right, is facing any problem, right, or maybe nowadays there's a question of menstrual leave for women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Only if HR and employee has developed a good communication bond, it's only then a group of females can come up to the HR, right? And they can speak about it, right? Only
Yeah.
if there is trust. And the trust always comes with an expectation that yes, they would get something out of the HR which would actually favor them. But then the question ends here that HR employee HR को एक benefactor की तरीके से देखता है, someone who's going to always think of for welfare for him or her. I think I've
True.
answered it. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes so
Okay.
much sense, especially the part about being transparent and being honest, even when the
Yeah.
message isn't easy. And students really need to hear that. So,
Mm-hmm.
moving on to the next question. You work closely on strengthening the one people culture at
Yeah.
Adidas. Could you share how communication helps build this culture on a day to day basis?
Yeah. So, when I talk about HR, especially in Adidas. So we work under two segments. One is the global and other is EM. EM is the emerging markets, right? So whether see, imagine you have two segments, you have two verticals. One is globals and one is emerging markets. And then in that case, weaving everyone together is what is the idea of one people culture. But then see, people are working under different verticals, people have their different standpoints, and potentially everyone has something which differs from one another. But then how
Mm,
does the one people culture come up? That come up with regular check-ins, right? And what is regular
yeah.
check-in? So uh that can be an town hall. For example, we at Idas India, we do. So how Dubai people, the people, right? The IDAS Dubai, IDAS Amsterdam, and IDAS Germany is going to get, and how we feel connected is through regular check-ins. For example, we have town halls, that is AEM, that's all employee meetings at every quarter,
Mm,
right?
mm-hmm.
And that is broadcasted across 28 nations, which means when IDAS India is running its town hall, 28 countries with n number of millions of employees are having an access to it, and they actually log in, that they actually hear that, right?
Yeah.
So this is one EM culture or one people culture, where people, yes, see, because we are a global company, right? So,
Yes.
how we can ensure one people culture across the nations? So, and across overseas, it's only regular check-ins, right? One of the regular check-in, this is I'm talking about on global level. But then if I talk about Adidas India में
Mm,
भी एक छोटा सा, मैं अगर अपने एचओ की बात करूं, सो प्रिसाइजली आई एम पार्ट ऑफ एचओ, दैट्स हेड ऑफिस. सो वहां पे कैसे होता है? We have monthly huddles,
mm,
right? Then we have
yeah.
quarterly huddles, we have bi-weekly huddles as well, inter team as well, and intra team as well,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So this brings one people culture. Okay, so we try to collaborate. Collaboration only happens when collaboration
Mm,
is rather the secondary stage of people one people culture. Collaboration कब होगा? When you have regular check-ins,
yeah.
right? And the regular check-ins can be in form of town halls, AEMs, it can be in form of team huddles, right? For
Right.
example, एक छोटा सा example मैं आपको देती हूँ. So HR has so many verticals. HR has rewards and recognition, जो आपका salary payout देखता है, ठीक है?
Mm,
Then you have TA, that is talent
mm,
acquisition, that recruits people. Then you have
mm-hmm.
HRBP.
Mm,
HRBPs are human resource business partners. They are the
okay.
ones कि अब सेल्स वालों को भी तो एक एचआर चाहिए जो सेल्स वालों की सारी ग्रीवेंसेस लेगा. देन यू हैव रिटेल का HRBP. सो ये वो एचआर होते हैं जो कि बिजनेस से कनेक्ट करते हैं, ठीक है?
Yeah.
सो देर आर सो मेनी वर्टिकल्स. देर इज HR operations as well. So अब
Mm,
इन लोगों को all together we have to weave together in one culture. So the culture is built by people, but only how? Regular check-ins, collaboration, and when we have open doors of communication. As simple. So everything, the premises of everything here is communication. And communication happens when I talk about Adidas, I feel very, very, I can vouch on it that we have very formal communication,
mm,
right? As in, it's very simple. Uh, it's just you're in a academic domain as of now, but when you enter into the corporate stuff, it's very simple. You just check in your calendar, right? And you just pull in the name of the person you want to meet or you want to even speak about. You can just check his scheduling assistant and just fix up a one-on-one, a quick catch
mm,
up, maybe a short
yeah.
catch up, a one-on-one connect, right?
Yeah.
So this is something which is very important in, not in Adidas, but yes, in corporates. It's
Mm.
very important. So if it is someone who is your DR, that's your direct reportee, then
Yeah.
you should have a weekly connect or a bi-weekly connect,
Mm.
right? But if it is a minus one of a DR, then you can have maybe a monthly connect or a quarterly connect, right? But then
Yeah.
everything happens if there is a connect.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really beautifully put, ma'am. And
Yeah,
I
thanks.
love how you said that culture is built through people, through regular check-ins, not
Yeah.
just big announcements on mails.
Yeah.
So, yeah, moving on to the next question. Since Adidas follows global standards, you interact with diverse teams and candidates every day. What cross-cultural
Sorry.
communication skills should students start developing now?
I think you hung up. No worries.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying that since Adidas follows global standards, you interact with diverse candidates and teams on regular basis. So what cross-cultural communication skills should students have and should they start developing now?
So, see, from hiring standpoint, instead of directly pulling out the cat from the bag, I would rather give you a fine example from TS standpoint. Uh, I do a lot of hiring for retail, which means store managers, so retail associates as well. So, the real challenge comes when I'm sitting in North, right? And
Mm.
I have to hire a store manager for Chennai. This is,
Yeah.
I'm just talking about India as of now, right? So, what makes me, so when I'm hiring, I'm not hiring from my perspective, I'm hiring from someone who sits there, which means I have to understand the work culture, how people work in Chennai, right? What is
Exactly.
their perspective, right? It might happen कि select city walk store का जो manager है, he might overwork, right? He might overrun his normal hours,
Mm.
maybe. But then for people like Chennai, they might be stringent enough. They do not even wish to extend even a single second. Right.
Yeah.
So, uh, from a hiring standpoint, this is very important. And let's take it a overall stuff. So it is very, very important to gauge the culture, right? So you should have, and you should have the sensitivity. You should develop cultural sensitivity rather, right?
Yeah,
See, even if it
exactly.
you are from whatever the domain is, right? Whether you're from sales, whether you're from retail, finance, or like HR, anything that happens is when you can gauge. First of all, you'll have to gauge um the cultural aspects, the cultural traits, and then you need to develop the cultural sensitivity, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then when I talk about global, for example, my Chennai people, obviously in Delhi NCR people, when I connect with my team, so it's very simple. We try to use English also sometimes, right? But when I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking to my Chennai people, for me, I have to be it has to be completely English, right?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
struggle for me is people sitting in Chennai and Mysore, the pace at which they speak is comparatively faster than we speak, right?
Exactly.
So it took me once, twice, thrice, but then yes, I've adapted myself to that, right? So this is something which happens, and I think this the only solution to cross cultural functioning is that you have to gauge first, and gauging always happens. Gauging is all about just finding your own ways.
Mm.
कल्चरल गेज करने के लिए आपको कोई टेक्सचुअल नॉलेज नहीं देगा कि ओके this is how people from Chennai behave, okay, this is how people from Sikkim behave, right? This is something which
Yeah.
comes with experience, right? So it's
True.
all about understanding their tone, understanding their culture, and accordingly you make the things happen.
Yeah. I really like that point about culture sensitivity and being
Yeah.
aware of the differences in different cultures. Like, I believe that that's something we should all practice more often.
Yeah.
So, as someone deeply involved in hiring, what communication mistakes do young candidates commonly make during interviews?
Uh, could you please repeat again?
Yeah, sure. As someone deeply involved in hiring, what communication mistakes do young candidates make commonly during interviews?
Okay, so over the years, like what I have been noticing is the Google and YouTube, yes, they've been benefited people a lot, but then they've really somehow spoiled the interview recruitment standards. So we most of the time, what I have really observed is when people are into the virtual or maybe even a face-to-face interview, they come with a very, very fabricated, scripted lines, right? Which is something, and we, as a recruiter, we look for something which is very pure, which is very, very genuine. So this is something which we find, and of course, don't think that I'm a critical person to AI, but then
Not at all.
people see, you can get your CV resume done from AI as well, right?
Yeah.
But then what I have observed is that there is a huge gap between what is submitted as a CV, right,
Mm,
and what the employee or the interview is actually appearing for.
yeah, exactly.
So I think there's a little gap that has to be bridged, like what the candidate or applicant is actually speaking and what is actually what their KRAs or KRAs are actually put down in the CV, right? Which is much of
Hmm.
fabricated. And industry, say it any industry, say it sports, say it's FMCG, every recruiter is looking for something which is very pure, right?
True.
And somehow, when the applicant is struggling between what is scripted and fabricated, and obviously he wants to add a tinge of his real one, in that case, it becomes very, very difficult for the recruiter to understand the person, right? And
Right.
somehow, even the applicant loses the confidence.
Hmm.
So it has to be when you're in an interview, you have to be very, very natural, genuine. It's only what you can memorize and fabricate is only the your technical achievements. But then this is the only answer which you can come with preparation with a lot of fabrication. But then rest of the questions, there is no preparation.
True.
And one thing which I would like to suggest to all the applicants of 2026 is just take a deep breath, right? And just calm and pacify yourself. And I'm really sure you'll have a really good kickoff. You're going to kick off the interview really well.
That's so helpful, ma'am. I think many students, even like me,
Mhm.
try too hard to sound perfect using ChatGPT, Gemini, or various AI tools available nowadays and end up sounding maybe less natural at times. And your advice about being real is very important.
Yeah, but Bhumika, to this, I would just like to add one thing is that, for example, Adidas is authorized and to use Copilot. Copilot is again
Yeah.
AI, right?
Hmm.
Rather, every 6 months, we have HR workshops how AI can strengthen an HR,
Hmm.
right? So it's all about wise use of AI,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
this is, it's not that it's not important. AI is important for us. But then you should bring in bring in AI into picture only when and to the extent where you do not lose your genuinity. That's it,
True. Yeah. I get your
right?
point.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I believe that what you're trying to say is that one should use AI or ChatGPT, but to the extent that they do not lose their genuinity or realness, which the any interviewer nowadays is trying to find, because ChatGPT or any other AI tool gives the same response to everyone, and then it
Mm.
is hard to differentiate between different interviewee, and that makes the hiring procedure, I guess, a bit monotonous as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have been handling multiple HR responsibilities and balancing leadership roles. What communication strengths do women naturally bring to leadership today?
So, leadership, if one word, empathy. I think even if I do not elaborate this, empathy is something as a women leadership skills, right? I I don't know why the question is confined to women, but then empathy, if you wish to have leadership skills, you need to have empathy. You need to be empathetic, right? You need
Mm.
to be emotional. As in HR, I give you an example. Why women would turn up and come to me, and why would they went out with the fact that, okay, that menstrual leave should be made a mandate stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
If you do not have empathy, if you do not have sympathy, so somehow or the other, the idea of trust between employee and the HR slims down,
true.
right? So a very fine example here is, obviously you must be knowing that, according to the Companies Act, we offer 6 months of maternity leave to women,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm.
Adidas, what it does is, for all those women who deliver, immediately after they deliver, we send them a cute hamper, which is completely Adidas branded. And it
Okay.
has a ball, Adidas branded ball. And imagine a pair of shoe for someone who is 1 month. You could imagine the cute shoe, the pair of shoe,
Yeah,
and some apparel. So it's just, it happens only that when the company or the leaders have empathy,
true.
right? So empathy comes with this. So, and I've myself facilitated one of the sessions of how flexing empathy amongst HR. This is something which is my project nowadays. So if I go on, I can speak for another 3 hours. But then maybe in future we'll surely connect on this if required.
Sure. Yeah. I feel that's such an inspiring way to look at leadership. Like, I have never heard such of a perspective from anyone before, that you should look at leadership with a thought of empathy. And I believe that's the true leadership skills one can have.
Yeah. See, last year I hired one of the store managers for my Select City Walk store, and
Mm.
just because when I hired him, in the initial stage, I built a good connect with him, right?
Mm.
And the guy could not turn 50. He turned up for the final round in the office 15 minutes late. But then,
Okay.
okay, imagine someone coming from an interview and maybe something unfortunately mishappened with him. So I pacified him, and that was the way of showing a little empathy towards him. And when 3 months back, when he was given a target that yes, he has to do 1.5 cr of sales, the person did 3.5 cr of sales. And then, on the A Live page of Adidas, what he did, he just wrote his achievement, etc., etc. And then the one single act of my empathy for 15 minutes of a leverage that I gave him, and the person actually acknowledged and wrote for me that yes, he is very very thankful. Yeah. So just a little act of empathy that actually builds a long lasting connections.
True. I really feel that many people would like to hear this and would be really inspired to know such thoughts about leadership. So, with remote interviews and hybrid workplaces becoming the norm, how should young professionals adapt their communication style for virtual environments?
So I wish I could have just had it been, अगर Adidas ने हमें परमिशन दी होती ना, तो हम वर्चुअल इंटरव्यू पे I would have just written my checklist for all the virtual applicants, because this is something. So okay, looking at the demographic stuff, looking at the global working corporate trends, we have to obviously go ahead with virtual interviews. But there are some setbacks, and which I think the um, current generation would pick up that. Firstly, um, your tech. You should actually strengthen, you should actually double check your tech availabilities, right?
Yeah.
It really happened with me. I was interviewing someone post my working hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the laptop and battery drained of the applicant, right?
Oh,
So tech should be something which should be really taken care of, and the external noise and the whatever, that has to be taken care of at a very important stuff. And most important, people think that okay, this is a virtual interview, they can appear at any point the way they feel like. No. See, if it is for a corporate stuff and you're appearing for an interview, even if it is a P1, P2 level or M4 or M3 level, yes, one has to ensure that you're in proper, at least if not a good formal shirt or a
yeah.
decent smart casuals, but then,
Mm.
right?
True.
So apart from audio video check, I believe uh, this is something which is very, very important, right?
Yeah.
And the most important stuff here is, because see, we cannot, I'm not having physically, the person isn't present in front of me, it's the body language that matters a lot. But then certainly it has, one has to be very clear, very, very clear what he or she is trying to convey. The clarity is very important, right? Nowadays, I don't know, maybe this is a smart generation. People think that it's a virtual interview. Oh my God, they keep on, if there is a single question, they keep on dodging around, dodging around. But then, as an interviewer, when it is a virtual interview, the interviewer is always looking for few precise words,
Yeah.
right?
The
Okay.
jargons.
The jargons, exactly.
Yeah.
So that is where the interviewer actually has a checklist of, if you have the
Yeah.
correct, if you pick the correct word, okay, then that's fine. If I'm talking about, okay, if I'm interviewing someone from HR, right? But then the person says, okay, I am very strong in payroll, and he doesn't know payroll falls under the category of rewards and recognition. Oh my God,
Mm.
darling, then you're not going to be part of this table then.
True, absolutely. Like in online settings, I believe presence and clarity matter way more than we realize.
Yeah, and
So,
to me, the topmost priority is the tech. If I put them chronologically, tech, and then how you present yourself, and thirdly, the keyword that is jargons. If I'm hiring someone from for talent acquisition, for hiring, and the person doesn't know what is attrition, oh my
mm,
God, then sorry, that's, so I'm just talking about, this is how hiring manager is actually looking for things to close the interview at a positive end. Yeah, I hope
true.
that makes a little sense for you.
Yeah, it does. So, moving on to the to my favorite part of the podcast, a quick fun
Mm,
segment. This is
okay.
called Fast and Fun Communication Edition, and you just have to pick one option. No overthinking.
It has an option.
Yeah, it has
Oh,
options. It
that's
has two
nice to know.
options, and you just have to choose one option, and it is kind of rapid round.
Okay.
So, ready?
Yeah, sure, sure. Go ahead.
Email or phone call? What gets things done faster for you?
ईमेल, एंड दैट टू व्हेन यू लूप योर बॉस, सामने वाला वैसे ही
True.
डर के फटाफट रिप्लाई करेगा.
Yeah, true. Formal tone or friendly tone? What do you naturally use at work?
आई थिंक ऑफिस में फ्रेंडली टोन वर्क्स अ लॉट. Formal may you cannot convince people,
Yeah. Zoom meetings or face to face?
obviously face to face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can completely influence the person. You can just have the black magic of the com skills.
Yeah, exactly. You can manipulate the person into meeting the targets.
Yeah.
Short, crisp messages or detailed explanations?
Detailed explanation, but always put down in headings and subheadings. That
Yeah.
makes it crisp then.
Yeah. At least to have a context that what exactly the message is about.
Yeah.
Hiring for attitude or hiring for skills?
Uh, if you have skills, you can develop your attitude.
True. One word your team would use to describe your communication style.
My communication skills, just one word.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. I cannot tell in Hindi here, but then
No, it's fine, like whatever you are comfortable with.
no, but then like they always come up like I always have a lot of clarity whatever I want to actually convey them.
Hmm.
This is I they always call me you are clear and bold.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was super fun, ma'am. And honestly, your answers say a lot about your communication personally. Like, I really loved it. So
Mm.
before we close, one final question. What is one common habit or practice you believe every student should start working on right now? Hello.
I think there was a system problem with you. Okay, so for according to me, the current generation would should actually develop genuinity, which actually lacks, right? And once you are genuine in your approach, things really work for you, right? And secondly, when you're in your workplace, try to absorb, and then react.
Yeah, true.
आप जितना एब्जॉर्ब करोगे ना, राइट,
Yeah.
उससे उतना ज्यादा you have more to react and to think on.
Mm.
Never react too early. I think this applies to the real life situation also, but try to absorb the things instead of giving your opinion, right? That makes you a little thoughtful. It is all
Yeah.
about being thoughtful, right? And
That's such a
always
powerful
make your
takeaway.
conversations very clear. Never leave an ambiguity, because a single ambiguity can be a reason of a mistake, and that might trigger your performance standards.
True.
This is something I really want to say. Clarity in whatever you, whether it is a verbal communication or whether it is a written communication, it has to have it. You should give a clear uh, a clarity on what you want to impart, so that whosoever the receiver is, he is able to decode e- exactly what you want to say. There shouldn't
True.
be any room of ambiguity. The moment you create
Mm.
any room or space for ambiguity, you actually create a room for mistakes.
Yeah.
Obviously ऐसा नहीं होता कि we do not commit mistakes, we do commit mistakes, but then
Mhm.
why not always work a little with a little more vigilance and clarity?
Yeah.
And never you should take that your leader or your manager or your reporting manager, if you haven't understood something, right? If there is a project, if there's a task allotted to you, right? And if there is any still you have few questions, you do not have a clarity, instead of moving ahead with a lot of ambiguity in mind, always prefer to keep, oh hi, I need to have a quick 15 minutes of a chat with you,
Yeah.
right? So the idea of communication is something which is premises, which is the
True.
base,
I
right?
think a lot
So
of
a
us will
quick
reflect
touch
on
point,
this.
uh, yeah. So a quick touch base with your manager, a quick touch base with your leader. Okay, I want to have a touch base with you. Following are the touch points. Bullets में sharp points डालो. Oh, that's the job is done,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, true. I have also heard about information overload that people tend to make in their communication, that they tend to like overload the person in front of them with whom they are communicating with a lot of information that they are not able to comprehend at what exactly the main thing is.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
it is all about, see, if you are giving a lot of information to someone via email, right? Then it is the skills of writing an email. How do you write the email and how do you actually put that content in a crisp manner, right? And if it is a
true.
verbal communication, then I would suggest you should always go with an agenda. That's it.
Yeah,
Agenda with a proper deck. Okay, this is ABC, this is XYZ,
yeah,
right? Or connect twice. If you have an elaborated agenda, connect twice with different agendas, but then you have to bring out the clarity.
true. Thank you so much for that, ma'am. Your insights on communication, leadership, hiring, and corporate culture were truly eye opening, and I'm sure they will help students like us transition more confidently from campus to corporate. And with that,
Yeah.
we wrap today's episode of Career Unfiltered, where careers get real. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Thanks, Bhumika. And it was again, I don't know, but I'm repeating again, it was a pleasure to be part of this and to give my reflections and learnings, corporate reflections and learnings to your generation. And I'm sure you people would absorb and set your priorities for the upcoming interviews. And then, of course, such I even appreciate your I think it's part of your university stuff. I even appreciate the university for pushing you people to connect with corporate people like us and get insights, how corporate functions and all that. I think this is how you people can touch base with us. Such
True.
initiatives are like, I think they are the blessings that you have with you. It's a privilege rather you people have, right? At
Yeah.
such an initial stage, you people are making best efforts to connect with corporate people, because this with this I won't say you can have a deep dive into how corporate functions, but then you can have a little fine idea of how things
How
work.
things work. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Thank you so much, ma'am. It
Welcome.
was great
Bye.
talking to
See
you.
you. Thanks. Nice. Same here.